So here I am, waiting for my G100 chairs to arrive. And it is May the 31st. So we're at the end of the 5th month of this year, and it's been incredible. And here we are launching into June. Quite amazing. Who knows what will happen next? What's this? Welcome, welcome. Somebody else just coming in. Who is this? I know that Natalia from Burkina Faso has, hi, hi there. And a advisory council member from Burkina Faso as well. There's lots of activities happening in Burkina Faso, which is great. And it's wonderful to see this action. So we have had quite a lot of activity, as Lucas, let's get her in. We've had lots of activity going on around the place. And as you noticed, I have been posting out a lot, and I put all our photographs into a calendar. Now, I'm just going to make this announcement because you may or may not know, but I am dyslexic. So when I get spelling wrong, it's not because I'm stupid. I just do not see spelling mistakes. So I really deeply apologize. But then I'm very happy to correct. So as there's so many people on those flyers, I'm aiming to get it right. And I keep on finding things that I've still got to add in. But if there's anything, Fabiola, have I put you on the WhatsApp group?
Okay. No, I don't
Oh,
think no.
okay. I need to. We have a WhatsApp channel for everybody in this group.
Mhm.
So what I need is if you can put your number in the
Okay,
chat,
no
and then I
problem.
can add you in. I know Natalia is in that group, but
Okay.
there's actually about 36, 37 of us now. And I
I
know
will.
everybody doesn't look at it every day. So um, I'm trying to bring all of that together. Hi, Lucrece. Um, I did I did change your name on the sheet as well, Lucrece.
Hi, Dr. Pauline. Thank you. I'm off camera today. I'm like doing double duty right now, but thank you for
Okay,
changing that. I appreciate it.
okay. Well, so my goal is with those. I wanted to put everybody's picture in, so I still have some pictures to change. And if there's a picture in there that you don't want of yourself, you want a better one, then just send it to me. And in fact, Ritu, you said that you had, thank you, Fabiola. Uh, Ritu, you said that you had a really good tech person who could play around with those, anything that we want to do visually.
Yeah,
Is that right?
yeah, I can help out. Yes, I can ask my assistant to do something.
Yes. So basically, one of the things I wanted to share is that my goal is to promote this group. So just for Fabiola's sake, especially, and can you put your, and how do I pronounce your name in the middle there? Could you help me?
Me?
Well, no, Afemib.
Ah,
Yes. Hi there. I know I saw you briefly. This,
hello. How are you? It's Nathalie.
okay, I'm good.
Yes.
How do
I
I
don't know.
how do I
Uh,
pronounce your name?
this is not my Zoom account, but every time I try to connect it, it's a Zoom of our NGO Afemib, but I will change it.
Okay. So anyway, the main thing is that we have 20 country chairs now, and we have around 7 regional chairs in America. And now we have 4 extra members in Burkina Faso, along with Nathalie. So what I'm aiming to do is to really help us understand and see each other. And that's why I put those charts together with everybody's face in and their title. And I've gone back into there today, and we do have a WhatsApp group. So if you're not on that WhatsApp group, Fabiola's just given me her number. I will put it in there. The main goal is that I'm looking to ways that we can spread our presence across the network. So the G100 network is 100, nearly 100 global chairs. And I am the global chair for this wing. So in each global chair, there's a series of country wings. And in each country, potentially there can be regional chairs and city chairs. Now, at the moment, the USA and now Burkina Faso are the only countries with extra chairs in, and I'm not demanding that you have to do that. But one of the things we want to sort of understand the cascade of all the people within our group, because I'm on the global chairs group, and I make a lot of noise out there about our group, which is authentic harmony and positive masculinity. And I just want to share with you that it's starting to build momentum, because we are talking about building a harmonious joint custody world. So for all of you to know that the trip that I'm taking to Tanzania is very important for all of us, because I represent all of you. And I want to take those charts with all our faces on and have a poster there. So when people are in the conference, they're going, okay, what's this? And I'm going to say, here's my chair for this, here's my chair for this. And if Fumza, you were actually at the conference, and I'm hoping that maybe Jane from Kenya will be there as well, we can have a G100 wing kind of presence. So that will be part of the logo there. And I'm presenting to the president, Dr. Samia Suhala Hassan, Samia. I'm presenting to her an award. It's our PhD award in entrepreneurology. That's to do with my International University of Entrepreneurology. But the main thing is I'm on the VIP list. I'm on the first day. And a gentleman that you all might have heard me talk about, Dr. Dibril Diallo, who I know Fumza met in a conference in Kenya. So we've got a photograph of you, Fumza, with Dr. Dibril Diallo. And I met him in New York in March. So I have a photograph with him. Why is he important? He is the lead on something called the Red Card Campaign, which is all about eliminating violence against women and girls. But he also represents the positive masculinity aspect. He was first introduced to me when I got this title. And he said to me, of course, not all African men understand positive masculinity. So he is very much on a mission to make sure that with the Red Card campaign that we stop violence against women and girls. So he's going to be at the conference. I introduced him into there as a VIP speaker, and he will be talking about how women are a major part of the elevation of the world and trade. And interesting enough, and this might be something for Fumza you to know as well, he's got an event in New York, and you, Ritu, as well, because you're near, September the 28th. There's a big event. I just got the concept paper from him, but it's all about how do we elevate trade through women and Africa and the US. And so he's really profiling the energy of women into business. And this is really important. So the conference in Tanzania is actually called a Trade and Development Conference. But within that, we've got very specific events for women. There's a huge women's panel. And what's interesting is with the women's panel is that it also includes the Vice President of Zanzibar, who is a woman, and Bia Hakula, who Ritu mentioned. If she comes, she's a very prominent woman from South Africa. I don't know whether you know her from the Bia Hakula. But there are a lot of very powerful women coming to this conference, as well as wise men. So it's brewing up, although it is obviously about developing Tanzania as a gateway to bridging to other African countries. It's very much about elevating the energy of women within trade. And that's why I'm very excited, because the other section that's in there is youth. So there's a big group session on the second day, which is about the youth. And Nima, who may be able to turn up today, she's our G100 country chair for Tanzania. And I've been working with her, with some of her 18 to 30-year-olds. So these are young adults. We have some young adults here, Fabiola. I think you might be classed as one. I'm certainly not a young adult. I'm a very old adult, but I'm still young at heart. So there's going to be a big youth session. And the way I see that is about boys and girls, but it's about energizing the emerging leaders. So this is the other thing that's important, is where we're going to find the emerging women and men, but where are we going to help the emerging leaders who might start major businesses who are female, and help also understand the whole energy around what changes about in a joint custody world. Nemo is very taken with the idea of a joint custody world, which is one of our themes. When you look at authentic harmony and positive masculinity, that's where the output is. And so she's been talking to very prominent people in Tanzania, like the Minister of Trade and Industry, who's a man, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, who's a man. And so we've got a mixture of men and women. And for those of you who don't know the president, Dr. Samia, she's been president officially for 5 years, but she was vice president before that. So this is a very leading woman in the world of politicians, obviously. So I'm really excited about this event going on for myself, obviously, but for all of us, because I'm going to take us as a group there, even if it's only in a visual sense. I mean, if any of you can be there, be fantastic. And what's just been interesting on a note was Nima is an amazing woman, like all of you are. And she's been in some very big dips as well, because there have been men along the path who suddenly say, no, you can't do that. But she has kept on going. So I'm not going to go into the details, but I really want our support for Nima, even if it's only, making sure we get the posters there, sending her ways of inviting other people there. Ritu was instrumental in me meeting Bia Hakula. So it's very important, because there is still a major part of the world of men who say, no, you can't do that. Now we can. We're flying by the seat of our pants, if you know that expression. I don't know whether you do, but it's close to the wind. We're looking for sponsorship. We're doing everything we can. But there were a lot of very important people coming along. And I'm very excited about the Woman King coming from South Africa, because she is a remarkable lady, and also like all of you. And she really stands for what we all stand for. In my conversations with her, she said, with no aggression at all, she said, I can do everything a man can do, but I do it as a woman. And I always love that, the statement, because we don't, we can do everything we set our mind to, but there's often challenges along the way. And I see Diane Monique, you're here?
I'm there, but I cannot see you.
Oh,
So
we can't see you either. Welcome. And Natalia, is that Natalia there, or is that?
It's 6 p.m. here. It's 6 p.m.
Okay. Ritu, what do you want to say?
Dr. Pauline, I wanted to add to what you had just said, that for Women King, that she said that I can do everything a man can do, but I do it as a woman. I think the narrative that women should carry in 21st century, my opinion here is that it shouldn't come as a sense of competition. It puts men
No.
on the defensive.
No,
It should come in as what we have contributed to the betterment of the society, to the betterment of our families, to the betterment of our community and in the world. We cannot be hiding. We still are women. We're not taking away from you do, but we are who we are, and we are equal partner. And as Dr. Pauline said, that co-creators, right?
absolutely.
The co-custody word. So that's what I wanted to share.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, she didn't say that with, you know, any sense of competition or
Understood.
but yeah.
Yeah.
And Monique, we nearly see you. Hey, welcome.
Hey, how?
And in a moment, maybe even if we can get Nima on screen. Are you there, Nima? Speak to us.
Yes, I am
Oh.
here, Dr. Pauline. Hi, everyone.
Okay, say hi to Nima. I've just been explaining to everybody the conference in Tanzania and the importance of it, not just in terms of it being on the organization side, but the impact
Yeah.
of that on our mission in the world of really raising the life credentials of women so that we're actually seen in a very positive, valued, exciting, you know, inspirational way. Now we know there's different pockets of energy around the world in terms of, you know, how people deal with women. In some areas, women are extremely marginalized. In other areas, they've achieved some sense of parity. I was talking to a lovely gentleman from Poland, and he said the women in Poland are very strong, and there's absolutely no sense of the diminishing. They're actually also very tall people. I mean, that kind of interestingly probably helps as well. And Nima, I was just explaining to everybody, Nima, that you are an incredible strength of determination to keep on going, even when some male areas of your experience are saying, no, you can't do that. The main thing is it's not about fighting, it's about moving forward and flowing. And so we've called this Tanzania a bridge. What do we call it, Nima? Bridging?
Bridging to Africa, but expanding markets to Africa. And one of the things I think it's going to be one of the best conference that will mark bringing women all over the world to one place.
Yes. And
And
that's, yeah, that's really where it's very exciting.
Yes, it is. And also, one of when we say bringing women together, but there are also some men. Today, I was having a very interesting conversation with a fellow woman who is very strong in Egypt, and she was telling me how she's been learning from men. And these are the things that we need to share experiences on how we can move. We're going to have a lot of strong women in Africa and all over the world coming together and seeing how we want to make a declaration on how we are going to move together. I remember so many people talking about Beijing when I was growing in my country here in Tanzania, but I think now a lot has changed, and we have so many young people coming. By 2030 we are going to have 1.3 billion youth in Africa, and right now we can see it. We have over 70% population of youth in Tanzania, and this speaks a lot. So what are we preaching now, or what are we saying to the youth or to the world? What do we see after seeing a lot has been changed? Is that we need to remove the equity part and then say we need to work together, the joint custody world, working together hand in hand to prosperity, to economy we want to see. And one of the things this lady brought to my attention, she's having a very good relationship with the president of Namibia, who is also a woman. And one thing we are going to do also is having the president of Tanzania, the president of Namibia, if she's going to make it, to launch the African Women in Export, working together with women in global stage, yeah, as pioneers to start, showing the world what women we can do. So there's a lot that we can share. I know each one of us here, we have a mission, and that's the place where we can, all come together, share experience with powerful women. We have a woman king coming along, woman king from South Africa. We have a president of women, Women for Women Africa. We have a president, we have development queen Mother Nana being also. So it's going to be a powerful place for us Africans, and also each one of us in the world. So I want to welcome you all from 9th to 11th of July, where we are going to take a stage as women, of course, with men by our side, but then we want to create a joint cast world and in harmony, working together. Thank you very much, Dr. Pauline.
Thank you, Nima. And I love the fact that Nima has taken this idea of joint custody world, and over the last 6 months, you've been talking about this. Back in March, you had an event for Women's International Month, was talking about joint custody world. So one of the things about words is really important, that, when people say joint custody world, it comes back to us. This is something that I started here. We've started from this group, and I hashtag joint custody world on my posts, and throughout the G100 global chairs, it's known to come back to us. So we start identifying with that harmonious joint custody world. Fumza, you've got your hand up, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pauline, and thank you, Nima, for that. And I think the phrasing is very important. So we have not met yet. I am from South Africa, and I think the phrasing is very important. Dr. Pauline, there's never been a more important time. I know we keep on saying it, but I like also the part about sharing on lessons learned. I'm saying that because, how we approach this, I think very much to Nima's words, very much to the words that were said before, it becomes important because we coming from a context where we've had policies that have been changed, and they've been about inclusion, and perhaps maybe the way they were received was not necessarily in the same, way they were intended. And I'm saying that because we currently have a scourge in South Africa. The queen, the king will let you know. We've had policies that have polarized people, and I mean literally every week or second day, there's a woman that has been killed in South Africa, and it probably speaks to some of these things where we try to correct. Maybe sometimes the intention is not felt on the ground. So it would be very good to have that interchange from women. I mean, women who project still womanness. I mean, if you're looking at the president of Tanzania, she's very much a woman. I mean, she's not changed, she's strong. She asserts herself, but she's still very much a female, and a woman comes with that energy of understanding that she's a woman and she's different, and she's coming with her own way of leading. So there's never been a more important time. I'm so hopeful that I'll be there, Nima. I've just asked Dr. Pauline about maybe the costs and everything else. Yeah, there's never been a more important time for this message to come out.
Absolutely. Ritu.
Would like to know, Dr. Pauline, would there be any portion of this event would be available online, live streaming, etc., that we can watch?
Well, this is what we're working on, and at Nima, are we close to having it online as well?
We have not yet decided for so many reasons, but I think we are in discussion right now, and we'll let you all know. But we encourage us to be in Tanzania in person. I know it might be short notice for some of us, but I think it's a place to be.
Absolutely, yellow fever and all that considering. But we'll aim to be that. And I think our intention is still to make it hybrid and online if we can. I have to say that, Anima, you are an amazing woman of courage. She's had so many obstacles in getting this together. Erica was going to be here today. Erica Hervel is our new regional chair for Arizona. But very sadly, her daughter, youngest daughter, who has kidney problems, has got very sick because she went swimming somewhere where there was a toxic algae. So I want you all to pray for Erica's daughter, because there was a whole group of young girls swimming in this toxic water and they've all become sick. So I'm hoping that she's going to be fine. But we are working against all odds to make sure that we get everything we need for this conference. And it is creating a buzz around women, especially across Africa. I told them about Dr. Djibril Diallo, Nima, that he's coming, but also he's doing a major conference, which I can share with you more about trade in Africa and women and young people. So those themes are coming through. And as we know, that the great agenda in America is always about women, about people of color, about veterans, about young people. So we know that we're in the right place in terms of what we're doing. I've been working with Nima's young people in Tanzania, and I think I sent it to you, Ritu, but there was a testimonial from one of the young girls who in her 20s about getting our act together, thinking for herself, going out there, doing what she wanted to do. She mentioned entrepreneurship, and I will post it on our WhatsApp group because it's really inspirational that she is talking to her peers. She did this video, not just as a testimonial, but to say to her own peers, come on, get your act together. and that's what we need. You know, we need the under 30s who are this huge demographic.
And this
really
is very
knowing.
much needed, Dr.
Yes.
Pauline. It's very much needed that women of our generation bring that and collaboration with the younger generation, not be you do your things, we're doing our things. No, it's a collective word. It is like, in your words, co-custodians. As co-custodians, every generation has to be part of it.
Yes.
We have so much to learn from each other.
Absolutely. And that's really the goal with any magical conversation, that you have a mixture of people. And remember, with a magical conversation, it's no judgment, no anger, no controlling the outcome while you're in that place. And Fumza, I often quote your story of the event that you did in South Africa, where you had your top corporate men and women on the stage, because I believe you had 90 people in the room and everybody found the whole thing fascinating, that they were listening to words and commentary between men and women that have never been heard before. And the men were going, oh my God, I didn't know that. So we must never assume that people know what we think they know. They usually don't know what we think they know. And I know I've quoted this story before. My young granddaughter said to me, age 6, you know, you don't understand who I am. You don't understand what my life is about, and I don't understand yours. It was the greatest aha moment of my life. I don't know what is going on in all of your lives, and you don't know what's going on in my life. What I do know is that we're all on a mission to create a more harmonious, appealing, desirable, embracing world with men. And those conversations are happening everywhere in the world. Having met Dr. Djibril Diallo, and he phoned me personally yesterday from Senegal, and he said, I can't believe you're 76, Pauline. I'll follow you anywhere. I thought that was one of the greatest accolades. Because if we get men following us and they're powerful, instrumental men, this is where we start getting change. I think Dr. Jibril Diallo, I don't know whether you would say this, I think Jibril Diallo knows most of the presidents in Africa. I get the sense from what he does is he's traveled to almost every African nation, and he goes in first class into the front door. So he's on our side, he's with us. And this is important. So really, really important. So coming back to some practicalities, I just wanted to share with you also that on the inner track of G100 and what is happening across the world, I'm also keeping an ear out where we can place all of our issues and talents and faces out to those. That's why I did those charts that I sent to you. I hope I've got most of the faces in the right place. I've still got some more to add. I've just got Ruby's face photo in, and I've got somebody else, but we're getting a very, very good spread. It looks fantastic. And I want to take you all to Tanzania, even I just take your photograph. And if there's any, I mean, obviously, if we can be hybrid and you can be online, then we can organize some things. And maybe we can even organize, as long as there's internet, that we can even organize something where we could even do a Zoom and I can show you into the room. I don't know what we can do, but I'm sure there are ways that we can, if we've got good internet, I can bring you into there. I know, Diane Monique, you're not going to be in Benin, you're going to still be in France at the time.
Yes, yes.
But
I'm traveling back to Benin end of 129.
Okay, but I think there's more and more opportunity to bring us into different places in the world. I love the fact that Carmen, you know, Burkina Faso. I think, you know, when we start thinking about the world, I see the world as a very small place and that we are connected all the time. So that's really important. So one of the things I just want to make a note is that Jennifer Randive, who some of you know, Jennifer Randive is a very good friend of our G100 group. She is going around the world signing up MOUs with the Elagossi manifesto of the G100. And if any of you haven't got that, then I will post it up again on the WhatsApp group once I make sure you're all on there, like Fabiola. And the thing to know is that even though you might not hear about it, there's a lot happening out there in the world of the G100. And I'll come to you in a minute, Clara. There is one event I just want to awaken you to in Malaysia, should you be anywhere near there, on June 19, 2021. I just posted it up on the WhatsApp group, but there's a G100 chair, Dr. Hartini, and she's got a lot of G100 women and WEF, which stands for Women Economic Forum, all meeting in Kuala Lumpur. They invited me, but I really couldn't get there and get to Tanzania. I don't think my body would manage that, or my funds. But I will keep you aware of that. I know that you have to go soon, Carmen. And one of the things before you go, Carmen, I just wanted to say thank you for being one of the members of our group who's done her interview. So just quickly before you go, Ritu and Carmen and Lucrece have done their interviews, and Annette as well. I saw Annette somewhere, I think she's disappeared. The reason I want to do these very short interviews, they're 9 minutes, so that we can populate the YouTube channel and then be able to use that when we maximize our impact out in the world. So when I'm talking in Tanzania and I've got all your pictures, I can say, go to our YouTube channel, go and see what Carmen's saying, go and see what Ritu's saying, go and see what Annette's saying, because each one of you are doing a something harmony. And I know, Natalia, you said that you were going to do social harmony. So I want you just to decide what your harmony is, a one word or two words. I think, Carmen, we've got 2 words. But that's okay. It's just to focus on the word harmony. So if we build a matrix of harmony, we can then build a summit or a conference very easily by putting that matrix together. I hope that makes sense. So I can actually get you out there. Okay, Clara, because we got to do yours, Clara. Bye, Carmen.
Bye, everybody. It's always so great to see you.
Bye, Carmen. Yeah, I just wanted to, I've come in a bit later, apologies for that, but I love what I'm hearing everybody say. And what I have been working on, just so you know, because I've been working my socks off in the background to get things going here in the UK. I'm working on a bit of an ecosystem at the moment, which has taken me longer. It's a culmination of the 30 years of my work that I've been bringing forward. And I'm about to put it all back out there. So one of the things I wanted to share, picking up on some of Nima, what Nima has said, and the lady from South Africa, is I think, because I mean, I'm 60, and I think when I started, I was very much paving and creating my own, carving my own business, well, out against a very difficult backdrop. And I think what I'm finding, I've just set up a group locally for women in my local area. And what we're acting as is a support network. We're not just doing coffee and co-work. We're actually asking each other, what are the challenges that women are facing in business today? What are they having to overcome that men don't have to overcome? And I'm sort of documenting, somebody picked up earlier, the way we communicate, the business language, the language we use as women with our families. It's very different. And, I was just talking to a solicitor, and she's just gone back into being a partner at a major firm. And she's sharing how the men talk versus how she talks. So I think what we're learning to do, and I think we could pop this on out, is it's our rich storytelling as women and how we help each other navigate the different landscapes. And I know that's your big thing, Pauline, and it's also for me as well, because when we come up against, we don't want to use the word toxic, but we do come up against the toxic masculinity. And it's knowing where do we stand as women if we're in an environment where it's very much like that. So I think it's creating an ecosystem within what we're doing as women, and not negating men, but inviting them in, which is obviously what we're doing. I'm going to be running a 3-day, which I actually created it last year. It's a 3-day training. But what I'm talking about is how I have navigated in a very male-dominated world, the male way of being, without compromising me as a female, as a feminine being. I don't want to act like a man. I don't act like a man when I do business, but I mean business. And I think that's really important. And men actually respect that. So I'm going to be doing a 3-day training around that. So I'd invite anyone here to come and join me and give feedback, because it's not about me, but it's about my experience and the experience of other females at 60. We all talk, let's be honest, as women, we share our stories, what we had to deal with in that boardroom and what we had to deal with. And now, what I'm finding is that as a result of men actually wanting to do business in a different way, and as we know,
oh yes,
Dr. Pauline, when we first started this, for the ladies who weren't there, Dr. Maureen, she and Pauline created a container when we first started of 9, it was 9 words that we worked around. And what the men, because I worked with men in a group and with women in a group, and then brought them together, what they shared was so fabulous. And when they heard it from the feminine lens, of course, it gave them another angle. So I think one of the things that we come up against, and I've heard this from the group I've just been working with, which is why I'm sharing it, is if we've come out of being in the family and there's a gap for women, women go and do the family thing. They are intelligent. They've got all the abilities, but it's sharpening up They're tools for
Yes.
when they go back out. It's like going into on the motorway, isn't it? You're in the slow lane or you're in the fast lane. And I think that it's preparing women, because men are like very focused. They compartmentalize the work. They want to get the work done. They don't want to faff around like
Yeah.
the and business as women. They want to just get on with it. So I think that for me, what I'm recognizing with the work that I'm bringing through is how to sharpen women up, ready for that landscape, but without
Yes.
compromising all their feminine skills, which is very often, like the solicitor, I'll talk to you about it afterwards, Pauline, hugely compassionate, and clearly has a skill set that her clients love, but it's fulfilling the terms and conditions of the business. So I think
Yes.
it's something around that that's an interesting conversation. And I think if we can have those conversations, and then that's all I wanted to say on that. But on the youth thing, because I've talked to a lot of people about, and we've all been young once upon a time, is how to put a wise head on young shoulders when, let's be honest about it, a lot of boys are thinking about, having fun, maybe getting a girlfriend, all the rest of it. The hormones play in. So I think we need to help people realize as youngsters, yes, it's great to have all those youthful experiences, blah, 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 but also to wise men and women up to what their life could look like if they did blah, blah, blah. And I think we're all learning that as well.
Oh, yes, definitely. And if you've got your details of the program, then put them on the WhatsApp group and in here. And I wanted just to share before anybody else leaves, but is that I'm doing a certification program in the gender dynamics intelligence, which is all about how we learn that language. Dominique knows this very deeply in French, because so you all know, Dominique has translated and interpreted my book into French. And Dr. Djibril Diallo, who is French, it takes it with him everywhere he goes and refers to it in French. So I'm very delighted, because as well as being dyslexic, I do not speak French. So I want to thank you, Monique, for that. Absolutely.
My
And that
pleasure.
Fabiola, you might need a copy of that. So Diane, Monique, maybe you and Fabiola can help each other because of the French. And I'm going to go to Fumza. You had your hand up, and then I'll come to you. Fumza?
Yeah, I think just to add on to what Clara is also just made as a point. I think there are also things that we can learn from guys, right? Even if we do them in our own way.
Yes.
I think one of the greatest inhibitors, I think, for women is translating some of the talks and the action into commercials, and I think it's one of the greatest things, because we're in business, we are entrepreneurs, and when men meet, normally there'll be deals that will be struck, so it's beyond just the the talks about whatever. And I think that on its own can actually accelerate our mission, when we can start creating some of the things from a commercial perspective as well. And I'm saying this because I'm not sure about everyone else, but I'm seeing a lot of women who are either exiting corporate environments, or whether they pushed out, or they are choosing. For us, there's not many options. It's unlike guys. Guys get out, and within a month there's a board appointment, because amongst themselves, there's that networking that is beneficial, and it leads to outcomes and so on. But for women to even find something to maintain them, and I don't know how to call it, maybe my harmony tag, Pauline, would be around also economic emancipation for women. How do we get to that economic harmony as well?
I think so. Maybe that's your topic for the interview, from the economic harmony. I don't know.
Yeah.
You'll have to let me know. But it's been very interesting starting these interviews with all of you, because by focusing you on something harmony, it focuses us on the fact that harmony impacts so many issues. You know, harmony in domestic violence, harmony, you know, and so my key line is, in harmony, there's no harm. Keep it simple. In harmony, there's no harm. So if you're using any words or actions that you may not think are harmful, but they're obviously having a adverse reaction in someone else. And the other thing is the cross-cultural impact. And I remember this, Diane, Monique, very clearly. I remember we had conversations where Diane would ask me, what does this mean in English? And then she would say to me, oh, French men don't think like that. I mean, you know, in Africa, African men think differently, African women to Malaysia. I lived for 4 years. Life was very different there. In England, in India, you know, in South Africa, we have to register that. Even with my husband, I say words, and he's American. He says, I don't know what that word is. He said to me in the car yesterday, because he likes to drive my car when I'm driving, he said, hard down back. I said, what do you, I mean, I think I knew what he meant, but he meant he wanted me to turn the car to go that way. I didn't actually need him to say anything, but it was just a comment because the words actually didn't mean anything to me. So often between women and women, between men and women, between parents and children, you know, sometimes words don't translate. So we have to focus on the energy. When the energy doesn't resonate, then we question and ask, am I being clear? And I think, you know, I realize that especially in different cultures, we really have to listen to the energy that's going on. Ritu.
Yes, ma'am. So my comment is piggybacking what Clara said, Fumza said, and Dr. Pauline, you said, based on our gender and our cultures, yes, there's a lot of body language listening, a lot of understanding between that. As Clara had said, that men go and they strike deals, right? Women haven't learned that. It is our generational trauma. We're coming out of it. We're getting out in the last 20, 30 years, proving ourselves. And we prove over and over. And we are in that mode of still proving ourselves.
Oh, yes.
The youngest generation, Gen Zers, they are the generation and living generations where there is less of a gender dynamics, the gender blind, right? So we need to learn from them how they interact and collaborate, right? It's amazing to see all these differences, but we don't have a clear guidance on how to overcome them because it's just not you. It involves other person. You could work on yourself. You have no control on the person in front of you.
Well, that's right. You know, that's what I meant with the, you know, what my granddaughter said is that awareness, and many people are unaware. I remember, again, quoting your event, Fumza, that, you know, you said that the top guy at the end of the meeting said, I just never heard this before. And he wasn't a child. You know, we have realizations at so many times of the year of our life. And I think one of the things that I see happening in the world, and definitely it's one side of the world is going off the edge of the precipice the wrong way, but those who are aware are really shifting towards an understanding that life can be better. I'm very optimistic about everything. I'm gonna go to Lucas because we haven't heard from you before today. Lucas, you have a hand up. Oh, there she is. Hey.
Hello, beautiful. I just wanted to chime in because my experience has been different. When I hear like the consensus among women, I had just a little bit about my background. I had a older brother who passed away before I was born. And it was the only child at the time between my mother and father. And then they decided to have me. And my father, he said, I lost a son, I gained a daughter, and I'm going to give everything to my daughter that I didn't have the opportunity to give to my son. And so, unfortunately, my parents ended up getting divorced around the time of me being 5. But my mom's very present in my life. She just didn't live in the same house. So I'm constantly getting poured into by my father, his wisdom, the different ways and things of that sort. So I didn't get everything that a mother would give her daughter directly, like if she was living directly in the house with me. I did get the pertinent things that were needed. But being raised primarily by my father gave me the mindset on how to deal with men and to understand how they think and how they're going to approach me. So my father, since I was, since I can remember, has always said, this is how a man is thinking when he says this particular thing to you. This is how he's going to move, and this is how you need to move to make sure that he's not taking advantage of you. This is how you need to, use your voice when you are around men, not in a way of aggression, because what happens is that flips a switch inside of a man and it triggers him. And now he looks at you as an equal. We don't want to be equal, not in that way. We're not going to square up like a man. We're not going man to man. It's our feminine energy, their masculine energy. And there needs to be synergy between those energies so that there's harmony. And so that is what my father taught me. So I didn't have the experience of men not respecting me. They may have tried to come in with some level of disrespect, but I knew how to maneuver around that and quickly gain the respect, even if they had an inkling of it, because they knew better. They knew better. And these were men that were in power. They sat on the board. They physicians, executives, and I knew how to speak to and deal with each and every one of them to the extent where there was a level of mutual respect. So when I walk in the room, I don't have to say much. And when I speak, they listen. And so that I think I come from a totally different background and perspective, and getting that from my father has been very instrumental in my success. So I don't look at it as I can't achieve what they've achieved or I'm falling short. No, I'm going to make as much money as the position says, or the amount of money that's attached to that position. I will be making the same thing. You're not going to short me because I've done my research. My father also taught me how to negotiate. And I'm very comfortable with negotiating because it is a mutual and a beneficial conversation. If I decide, you might be holding more money because you're the employer, for example, but if I decide you're not a good fit for me, that's your loss, in my opinion. And you think it's my loss if you don't hire me, but we're having a conversation to decide if we're a good fit for each other. And that's the mindset I come in with. So, and that was taught to me by my father. So I just wanted to share that I have a different perspective when it comes to the joint custody and harmony in the world. I rest my case.
And the thing about our lives is it's all about different experiences. I had 2 brothers and a sister, and my girlfriends at school none of them had brothers, and I was at a girls' school, and all of that made a difference. They would have a different attitude towards boys, and I go, I don't know, they're just like my brothers. And my brothers were very loving. There was no angst, everything. And I think that where we got to now in the world, there's so many conversations that are not based on the ground. They're tied into old arguments and clashes and, I'm right, you're wrong, and messages from the past. And those are all different. And one of the things I did this last week was I ran a workshop, which I posted, I think, on the website, is Who's in Charge? And a lot of the conversation was about how women don't always get on with other women. So I'll leave you to watch the replay, because we were opening up that conversation about sometimes men don't understand women because women don't understand each other. And I think that's another important conversation around the world, because we don't have so many leaders who are women, and when I'm talking about, politically, etc., which is why I'm really intrigued to meet Dr. Samia and the Vice President of Tanzania and these other very prominent women. So as an example, with Queen Mother Development, Queen Mother Nana, who is a colleague of mine in Ghana, she's a Queen Mother, and those of you who know Africa understand these, but essentially she has 165 chiefs in her area, and her area is 41% of Ghana, so it's a reasonable size. So I asked her, do they honor the Queen Mothers? And yes, they do. They're not political, but they are influential in the political affairs. So you've got different issues around influence and change in those countries, but everything to do with women impacts everything in the world because we are half of the world. So the whole conversation is fascinatingly multiple, and I think that's where we have to be focused on where our local conversations are, like you were talking about, Clara, in a local community in England, a local community in Burkina Faso, a local community in Benin. All those will be different. And then you've got multiple cross-cultural influences, like for you, Ritu, living in America, but coming from an Indian background, myself living in America, but from a British background. I just find all those differences fascinating, but we really have to listen because everybody has such a different experience. Annette's here from Germany, again, totally different experience. So one of the things I want us to really start to get to know each other, and that's why I put everything on the WhatsApp group and into those pictures so you can start getting to know each other. Like I didn't know that Carmen knew Burkina Faso. I actually have only heard of Burkina Faso recently through the World Association of the World Union of Small and Medium Enterprise, which Diane is part of. So there are different combinations of connections that we've got. Obviously, I'm British, so I know what Clara's about with the UK, but I don't live there anymore. So we've got a very rich group of people here, and I want us to get to know each other more personally, find out what's happening in Benin, I mean, it's been fascinating getting to know you, Diane, because I've got to know what the French side of Africa is about. And that's just one. There's more French speaking people in Africa than in France, isn't that true?
Yes.
So, those kind of things fascinate me. It's like half of the world is under 30. That's amazing.
Yeah, I just want to.
Yeah, just a quick one, Clara, because I want to hear from Fabiola. What would you want to say? Clara, you go first.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were saying Fabiola go first.
No.
I just wanted to pick back up on a few threads. So I think there's a few things going on here, and I completely relate to the lady who, Lucrece. I got very masculine and balanced feminine energy together. So I've never had a problem feeling embodied and dealing with men ever. It's just not come into my remit. However, that said, I do understand that in certain sections of community, there is an old school mentality still, and I think it's overcoming that. And so I think those of us like Pauline, you've paved the path. We're paying it forward for the younger generation to have made it easier. So they can sit here today and say blah, 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 because of our generations paying it forward. But we're still not there yet. And as Punza just rightly said, about women leaving the corporates in droves. That's not just in Africa, that's also in the UK. And I've got a theory that it's around, and I know this from my own background, which you'll get to hear about as I relaunch everything, is I had a terrible time when I was in my youth with severe panic attacks. And that's all about your safety in your body. It's about your ability to speak your truth, to be invited to speak your truth. It's also about feeling safe. And I think that for women, because we have periods, because we have babies, because our nervous systems and our vagus nerves and all this stuff and our physiology is very different to men, I think that the corporate world is not geared towards women. And I think women find that difficult. I think that's going to change again. I think it's going to. So I think men of this sphere, they're going to end up being, I don't want to use any rude terms, but, they're very driven, they're very clear, they're very bump, bump, bump. And I think they have this fear that if women come in and they soften down and it just all goes a bit West and Pete Tong and they're here to do a job. So I think there's that element coming into it. And I also want to pick up on a very important point that Ritu made. And wherever you are in the world, whether you're in a more advanced country, perhaps they're more progressive, there is still generational trauma. It's real. It exists. I speak to a lot of women because of my passion around this work who are still, and some of them have hit very high positions very early on in life and then completely retracted because the generational trauma kicks in and they hit it in this world that's not, it's devoid. It can be a bit military. It can be a bit and so I think that I'm excited. I am so super excited at the moment. I've just brought together, a lot of things. And I feel that there is some exciting conversations to be had.
Oh, they definitely are. I'm just going to pause you because Fumza, you said you need to go. And I do want to just hear from Fabiola as our youngest new member here.
Anyway,
I'm not embarrassing you, Fabiola. Just tell us your first time here.
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Ariane, and I'm the youngest one because I have 24 years old. And I want to say thank you to everyone for accepting me in this group. I feel really honored. I feel blessed to be part of this wonderful group. And when I'm listening to everyone, it's just wonderful, the ideas, and I feel blessed. Thank you very much.
Well,
Also,
I really. Oh, say.
Also, I'm a student right now in computer science with a minor in mathematics. And I started my first nonprofit when I was 19 in 2020. And my second one 2 years ago, Women in Science and Technology, to empower females in STEM fields and help them. So I'm really happy to be here, and I want to relate from my experience with Mrs. Lucrece, because I was raised with a father who taught me how to react and with men, because he told me life is not easy and you need really to be brave. And being a president of a nonprofit with men, sometimes it's not easy. And doing computer science, being the only female in my class, it's not easy. So thank you very much for accepting me, and I think I'm gonna learn from you, and I'm gonna grow. Thank you.
Oh, that is absolutely fabulous, Fabiola, and I love your name, fabulous Fabiola. I think that's wonderful. I'm just really I'm absolutely amazed. We're delighted to have you, and as I say, I will add you to the WhatsApp group so you can get to see everybody. And I would love you to come on and have an interview with me. I'll send you all the instructions and everything because your youth is exactly what we need here. I just think that's fabulous. Fabulous, Fabiola. I'm really taken with that. Sorry about that. I like to get excited here. Thank you. So I really appreciate you all. And I know Fumza had to go and everything, but we will I'm going to send you on the WhatsApp group. We'll organize an interview with you. And yes, and thank you, Clara, for being here. And off you go and have a wonderful Saturday. And I will catch up with all of you. And Diane, Monique, actually, Diane, if you want to hang on, I'll have a quick word with you, because we got to catch up on some other stuff. But thank you all. Thank you, Fabiola. Thank you, Ritu. Thank you, Lucrez. Thank you, Natalia, if you're still there. And let's pause and stop
Yes.
now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you.
Be well.
Thank you.
Thanks.